Well, welcome everyone to our Empowering Moms with the Shackley Effect series. And my name is Elena Giacomin Dennis from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I'm an executive coordinator with Shackley. We are going to be talking today about busting the myth of aging. And our special guest today is Dr. Halina Krupa. She's a chiropractor who specializes in holistic healthcare for kids, but also for adults, and she practices here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. She also is a bio-nutritional care provider through the Hope for Autism organization, and you can find more of Halina's information. She blogs and also on drkrupa.myshackley.com. So today we also have a special guest, and that's Rose Baca, and Rose Baca is a director in Shackley. And Rose is very, very knowledgeable in the world of nutrition. She studies it all the time. And so we're so glad that Rose could join us as well. But today we thought we wanted to really talk about this myth of the aging process. We all think that, aging, well, we all know that aging is inevitable for us, but how can we do it with grace? And how can we do it with dignity? And are there certain things nutritionally that can impact us so that the aging process can be less, demanding on us? So let's, first of all, let's hear from Dr. Krupa. I wanted you to kind of see her children and the work that she does. Those cute little toes are her daughter's toes, I think. So, Halina, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I'm going to have you explain more about why you have chosen Shackley as the product line that you want to represent in your practice, and how that is impacting your business, your chiropractic business.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Elena, for having me with you today. I'm excited to be on and talk about these things because I am pushing 40. So that's, it's something that I'm beginning to think about and consider. And, of course, in practice, I see families, a lot of kids, but also their families, their moms and dads. So it's on everyone's mind. And I chose Shackley because of the quality of the products and the research. And, they're clean, they're safe, they're effective, they just plain out work. So Shackley was, of course, not the first company that ever approached me about including supplementation in my practice. I've been in practice nearly 10 years. And I finally said yes because I was inspired by all the, the Shackley effect, all those things that we appreciate, the research that's put in. We know for sure what we're getting in our Shackley supplements. So speaking of aging, science tells us one thing, right? We're somewhere there with, brain health starts declining at 20. Some hormonal balance, that starts getting affected around 30. Our breasts start aging at 35. Our gut loses the balance of good and bad bacteria, so to speak, at 55. And I personally don't believe that. And in practice, I have a more holistic, wellness-based approach to, family care. And I believe that if the body gets what it needs, it can sage, and I say sage gracefully instead of age, because I believe that we can go into our, golden years just beautiful and aware and well. We can be well. We don't have to have the high blood pressures and, the chronic this and the diabetes. We just don't have to. But what does the body need? So the body needs several things, among them nutrition. It needs a clear nervous system, which is where my expertise lie in with chiropractic. And in my practice, I see how when we give the body what it needs, positive mental attitude as well, then we grow. We continually grow. So how science tells us that our bodies are not functioning 100% anymore because, this declines and that declines. I find that if we do give the body what it needs, it actually grows and changes And we really, and what science tells us sometimes can be a mess because it's just based on what's happening right now. But we do have greater potential than that.
So, Halina, I know that one of the things that attracted you to Shackley was Dr. Shackley, that he was a chiropractor, and that you were very familiar with. Whoops, somebody's pushing these slides. We're going to go back here just for a second. Whoops. All right. There we go. So talk to us a little bit about this innovation that Shackley has and that attractiveness of Dr. Shackley being a chiropractor to you in your practice.
Well, sure. And he was a chiropractor. He had vitalistic principles, which is definitely on my wavelength. I appreciate that. People who think that, we have an innate intelligence in our body that has the ability to heal, to grow. He developed the first vitalized minerals in 1915. Way back when, right? And back then, right, this is what he was prescribing to his patients to help them get better results. So that's what inspired me, of course, as well. The vitalistic principles that are the core of Shackley, right? Give the body what it needs. Look to nature for healing, and that's what Dr. Shackley was about, and that's what I'm about as well.
I thought it was so interesting that you're using the word vitalized nature. Is that what you're saying? The vitalized nature of chiropractics? And
vitalized principles, right? Vitalistic principles, yeah. Which
and
basically, go ahead.
I was just going to say, notice his label on his very first bottle called Vitalized Minerals. So that kind of I think maybe even birthed the whole idea in chiropractics as well.
Yeah, and around that time, in 1915, early 19th century, there was definitely a renaissance of all things holistic, all things spiritual, all things, on the wellness spectrum of different disciplines like homeopathy and osteopathy, chiropractic, and nutrition were born, were reborn. And I think Dr. Shackley was definitely part of that movement.
Great. Well, let's now, Halina, talk a little bit about the consciousness of this company. You've talked to us a little bit about Dr. Forrest C. Shackley, but kind of give us a picture of where you see this company going with the influence of Roger Barnett and Dr. Bruce Stagge, who is the Chief Scientific Officer for Shackley.
So Roger Barnett is our visionary leader, and I've listened to him numerous times, and I can just, I resonate with what he's saying. He is highlighting the fact that nutrition is really, really important in this crisis that we have, especially in this country, around, health and wellness. We have the most sophisticated medical and allopathic model of healthcare, yet we are, I think, a couple of years ago, I'm not sure about the statistics last year or this year, but we were the 32nd, according to the World Health Organization, in terms of quality of life. So we die of these diseases, these chronic diseases, while we have the most sophisticated medical model. And so what he says that nutrition is definitely part of the solution. I believe that, and I agree with that. What attracted me, of course, to the company as well, once I started using the products and just looked deeper, is that we do a lot of research. In Shackley, there's a lot of research that goes into developing these products. So we know that this works. It's not experimental. It's not the latest craze that may or may not work. There's millions of dollars in research and development. So when we go to develop a product, we go to the literature and we look what's there, what has worked, what has been proven. And I like that for myself and my family as well as my practice members, because when I make a recommendation, I know that it will work. I know for sure that it will work. We have over 100,000 tests for product quality annually. So it's clean. It's really, really clean. It's beyond organic. And again, like I mentioned, I was approached by many different companies before, and I just wasn't inspired about the quality of it. And Shaklee's goal is to be the first company to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. So that's impressive. You know, we have some lofty goals and aspirations, and I've always aligned myself with you know, big vision. You know, that even when I went to chiropractic school in my early 20s, that I was driven by that sort of intuition and a knowing of, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to change people's lives. I want to do something meaningful, and that's what I think Shaklee is doing.
Right.
Dr. Bruce Daggy, our Chief Scientific Officer, says the medical profession is interested in treating disease. I'm interested in building health. And absolutely, it's easier to move towards what you want instead of fighting. You know, if there's a fight against cancer, fight against this, and fight against diabetes. And I'm personally tired of listening to that, because when I'm looking at the root causes of these chronic conditions and epidemics that we have in this country, we're looking at the problem instead of focusing on the solution, which is much more cost effective, much more effective, period. And that's the solution in the long run. You know, these are, I think, just fights for the sake of fighting. And I've seen numerous people in practice, in my own practice, that get faster results. They get, they just implement nutritional regimens, and their chronic, long-standing conditions improve significantly.
Right. So Dr. Shaklee said that quote about that he's interested in building health. He's never been interested in trying to treat disease. And now Dr. Daggy is really helping us to see that nutritional products like what you're seeing right here, as well as what we're using in our home, all affects our health and wellness and this whole idea of how we age gracefully. So just very quickly, I just wanted to mention that Shaklee's environmentally safe green products are in the White House and in the Vice President's mansion. Of course, you can see Oprah holding a bottle of Basic H. That's one of her favorite products, and she featured Shaklee on her show 5 times. In 2000, I think it was 2008 or 2009, Mark Kelly, who is an astronaut, and his brother now is going back up to do a mission this coming year. NASA uses Shaklee's Vitalizer, so that's a vitalizer strip that's floating in space. And then, of course, we work with world-class athletes as well. But today we really want to focus on what aging really can look like. And Rose, I'm going to ask you now to come on and start talking to us. And I know, Dr. Krupa, you're going to be jumping in and adding some elements too with Rose. So Rose, tell us about what we're looking at right here.
First, I just want to ask, is everybody on the phone on this, or should I be talking to my computer mic as well?
No, just talk on your phone, Rose, and turn off your computer. Okay. Yep, and just get close to your phone so we can hear you.
Okay, so this picture here is actually my mother, and at age 62 on the top left is what she looked like at age 62, and then you see her on the right at age 75. Well, in my personal opinion, that woman looks a lot older than she should. Because then you have Elena at age 62 down below, and isn't that what we all really want aging to look like? And I'm not saying that looking like you want to look is what the ultimate goal is, but what we look like really represents the health of our body. Because as we age, that cellular distress from aging not only leads to disease, but yes, it really does also lead to those wrinkles. And mothers in that time period, that was the 1980s when she was 62, they didn't really know that much about nutrition. To them, a full belly was really the goal. And they, had kind of lost some of the traditions that their grandparents maybe didn't verbalize to them about nutrition, but they knew less in that time period than they probably knew even generations before that. So we have to re-educate about aging to ourselves and all of the people interested around us. The quick stock, and oh yes, and then aren't you a little stressed out thinking that you might look like my mother when you're 62 or 75? Yeah, that would not be a good thing. I bet you are a little worried about that. But not to worry, because as long as you're aware of your nutritional needs and you're willing to open your mind to the new research that Shackley has done, and some of that is going to be talked about today, but not all of it, because there's just so much involved in aging. But I want to say that protein has become really important to me. I make sure that I get a lot of quality protein. Shackley provides that for us. I also look at it in my, daily, eating schedule, because as you age, you need more protein than you did when you were younger. And I find that people are aging, their hunger is not as, it's just not the same as it was when you were 30 and 40. I find most of the people that are in their 60s they're not eating quite as much. So supplementation is really become important. It's being aware of your nutritional needs. It's not only as you're growing up, but as you're aging. We know that children need a certain amount of nutrition, but let's look at how adults need nutrition. We need more protein. We need quality protein. We need protein without trans fats. We need to be able to use that protein along with supplementing it for our day, our day's needs of protein. We need also to figure out how we can digest that protein. And
now, Rose, I really thought it was very interesting. You had me put this down, how many grams of protein that we need every single day. I think most of us kind of walk around kind of oblivious to to how many grams of protein. Talk to us a little bit about that statement about half of your body weight.
Well, protein needs increase as you get older, and after the age of 50, the science is telling us now that you need half of your body weight in protein in order to sustain the muscles that you want to sustain. And so if a person weighs 140 pounds, that's 70 grams of protein. That's more than we're used to thinking about. That's a lot of protein, and it really helps the way that you feel and the way you sustain your muscles. And it's a goal. Let's all make it a goal to get half your body weight in protein a day. And good quality protein that Shackley supplies is the easiest and most convenient way for myself.
Because it's clean protein.
Right, and it's easily digestible. There's quick-acting protein and there's slow-acting protein. There's foods that are quick-acting protein too. Fish and eggs are in that category, and then when you get into the meat, they're much slower-acting proteins, and they need more digestive enzymes to break down and actually use the quality of that protein. And then you're looking at meats that, if you're not buying organic, you could be buying meats that are unsafe. So there you have something that with Shackley, again, that you can be guaranteed that you can get good quality protein with no genetically modified soy, and easily digestible and fast, what they call fast acting.
Right. Dr. Krupa, any thoughts about the need for protein in our bodies in regards to the first line of defense for our cells, or any other thoughts about it?
Well, what I'm thinking about right now is how important soy proteins are for healing nerve cells, because of course I'm thinking nervous system. And soy proteins actually help to heal the gut, the myelin sheath, the kind of protective casing that goes around nerves. So there's much more to it as well. It helps our hormonal balance. And I love that we're getting the protein that we need just for our basic functions, of course, of our cells, but then there are healing properties to the soy proteins, the Shackley soy proteins. And I remember doing a post on my blog, which is Dr. Krupa, drkrupa.wordpress.com, about this very subject, because some people are concerned with the quality of soy proteins, and also anyone who may, be on medication and especially breast cancer survivors. There's a very informative article there on the quality of soy proteins that come from Shaklee and why you would choose them. So, we can explore that and how certain things are removed to make it easily assimilated and so that it doesn't affect our estrogen receptors. So it's great. And my first introduction to Shaklee was the 180 protein shakes, which I lost weight. I felt so much better. And I forgot, forgot from my nutritional classes and information just how much protein we need. But I do. I need a lot of protein to level my blood sugar, especially in the morning, to get going. And since I've implemented that into my own lifestyle, I just feel so much better. And when I forget sometimes, I can feel how my blood sugar plummets, and that's not a pretty sight. My kids can tell you.
And I think now with Rose giving us a formula for what our protein needs are as individuals is so important. So Rose, thank you so much for doing that. Who would like to talk to us a little bit about leucine? Rose, would you like to get us started?
Sure. The other enhanced protein is the leucine, and that's the amino acid that is enhanced in our 180 shake so that we can gain more muscle. And that's the muscle that we need to have more activity. It's kind of a vicious circle. Without muscle, less activity. And as you lose muscle, you just lose more and more. So we're really fortunate to have this added leucine to enhance that muscle production. And it's going to enhance muscle production whether you're working out really hard or whether you're just going for a brisk walk.
Very important. And Dr. Krupa, you have some other insight about the importance of leucine in our smoothie.
Yes, leucine is a natural amino acid that we need to get from our foods, and it helps us feel satisfied. So it signals our brain to feel satiety. So in the whole weight reduction program that we have, it's important because it helps us feel satisfied. So when we reduce, let's say, the calories because we're trying to lose weight, it helps us feel satisfied so then the body reaches for our fat. I lost a good amount of inches on this program and a whole lot of cellulite. And it makes sense because my body just digested and used the fat for fuel. Otherwise, what our body does when we go on a reduced calorie program, it starts to reach for the muscles to get the energy, right, and the nutrition. This is a really nice program and it's very effective. And also, of course, it helps us keep the muscle, as Rose said. So the more muscle you have, also the more fat you burn, right? So if you're adding an exercise program to the 180 weight loss program, it's great. It kind of fuels this happening.
And I like what it says here is in regards to the study that was done. So the individuals actually gained 25% more muscle than individuals that were not using the Shaklee 180 smoothies with the leucine. So these are actual clinical studies. And they lost about 50% more body fat than the non-users did as well. So I think it's really important when we're thinking about the aging process, the first line of defense at a cellular level is protein. That's the first thing that your cell needs. So in order to maintain healthy organs, and your skin being the largest organ, and it's the one that people see the most, you can see the reason why a good source of a protein would be very, very important for your body. Now, let's talk a little bit.
Elena.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to add here too, because I know we kind of know this, but we forget. Ladies, how we get concerned after menopause about the density of our bones, right, of our bones. This is going to help you in the way that, muscle, right, that's why weight training is suggested for ladies going through menopause and after menopause, because the muscle pulling and causing the stress on the bone actually helps to strengthen it. It says, get stronger. I'm using this, right? I'm still vital and I'm using the bone So keeping the muscle, building the muscle is super important, and it will help to prevent osteoporosis.
Thank you so much for reminding us about that. Very, very important.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about our digestive health now, because it seems like as we get older, we all of a sudden have a few more problems. So, Rose, what would you suggest on the digestive side?
Well, there's a couple of things that go on as we age. One of them is that we don't produce the same amount of digestive enzymes that we did before, so we're not even taking advantage of the food that we might be eating if we're not digesting as well as we want to be. And the probiotics, it's hard to keep a good colony of probiotics without taking a probiotic supplement. So I suggest to my clients that they use both digestive enzymes. Shaklee has an enzyme that covers all four needs of digestion, and that would be protein, carbohydrates, fat, and sugar. And we have also got a great probiotic, which I think is probably the only one in the market as effective as Shaklee, because it is triple encapsulated to get all of the good bacteria to the gut where it belongs and not dissolving before it gets there. And when you have good digestive health, it feels so different. It really feels, the bloating that you might not even know you had is now gone, which that was me before my use of digestive enzymes. I didn't know that I was bloated. I thought that's the way everybody felt until I started taking digestive enzymes. And then I realized that is what they're talking about. So,
And Rose, would you also, excuse me for interrupting you, but it just reminded me that you recently have had an experience with EasyGest and the digestive enzymes that EasyGest provides in relationship to arthritis, which is an aging factor. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so, that's another thing about aging that we expect. Our grandmother had arthritis, so, we feel like that probably was going to happen with aging to us as well. Well, there actually was research done over 100 years ago by a scientist in Germany that was able to put the relationship together between digestive enzymes and arthritic joint pain. And really that was a result of inflammation due to lack of breaking down the food in our stomach. And it really has changed. I do have arthritis in our hands. Our joints do wear out. They do get old. But do I have any lack of mobility or any pain? No, I don't. And I did, and I don't anymore. And I suggest it to my clients that complain about pain in their hands, and a lot of people have arthritis in their back and their hips. But it's really effective to reducing that inflammation in the joint. That's really a part of arthritis that is really connected to digestive enzymes.
Mm-hmm.
And not
we don't think about that. Oh my gosh, that's
no, we just
probably
think it's our grandmother had it. We're probably going to get it too.
right.
So those are the myths
right.
of aging. There's a lot of myths about aging. We probably won't cover them all, but we'll cover some of the basics here.
All right, Dr. Krupa, any additional thoughts?
On the arthritis, yes, I take some time with people when they come in. To obviously, a lot of them come with joint pain, joint type of stuff, and we monitor and watch. And it's definitely something I recommend after a while, because if it's not just structural, then we know that it's a gut issue that's causing the joint pain, and we need to address it with enzymes and probiotics. Otherwise, we don't see as much of an improvement as we would like. So I personally had that as well. Probably my early 30s, I had such bad inflammation that I could not adjust. I couldn't do my job. I didn't exactly know the answers, but I knew that it's probably related to something internal, and I did some research, and it points to gut health as well. So if you have arthritis or achy joints, so on and so forth, address the gut definitely and look for allergies and different things. Because what happens essentially is, if the gut doesn't break down the food to the smallest possible particles that our small intestine then can absorb. And first of all, we're malnutrition. But secondly, it can create what's called a leaky gut syndrome. So our intestine, especially the small intestine, literally develops little holes like Swiss cheese. And these bigger undigested molecules are passing to the bloodstream and sometimes crossing the blood-brain barrier and causing havoc on our whole system. Children sometimes who don't digest wheat or carbohydrates very well, they will act distracted and, the whole ADD, ADHD, and they need that because the molecules, when they're not digested properly, cross the blood-brain barrier and act like an opiate, so like heroin. Big problem with children, too.
And that's addiction to the foods that they're actually not supposed to be having, right?
Right.
Because
right. Rose, we're going to have you, can you speak into the phone just a little bit clearer, Rose? We're losing you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me better now?
Go ahead, ask your question again.
I was saying that the opiate effect is also, the addiction effect to the the vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why we crave, things that sometimes are not good for us. Because think about it, if the bagel that you eat and you digest it the way that you do, and it hits your bloodstream and it just gives you that feel good effect, you're going to crave it, even though it's not good for you.
Right.
Wow. It's a concept that sometimes we have a hard time understanding. I wanted to have this slide on here because I think it's so important to know that there actually is a comprehensive digestive enzyme that does help you to improve your digestion in the milk sugars that are in dairy and the absorption. And Rose, I know that this is not a very good picture of our Easy Just, but just talk a little bit about what it is and how you use it.
Well, I use it. I don't use it when I have my shake in the morning because that is such an easily digestible, shake that I doubt that we need it along with that. But anytime I eat a meal with that's not a shake, which sometimes I do 2 shakes a day because they're so convenient. So let's say I maybe do 1 a day and then 2 meals. On a regular basis, I would take 1 with each meal. So if I'm taking 2 shakes, that would be 1 a day. If I'm doing 1 shake, it would be 2 a day. And I don't even use the shakes as a weight loss component of my diet. I use them as a convenient, really quick, go-to, balanced, good meal. So back to the Easy Just, most often once a day.
Once a day, okay, and that'd be 1 tablet at around the meal time. Now, the next area that's so important, going from digestive health to brain health, and the need for us to have excellent circulation to the brain, so that we can have the defense against cognitive decline. So, go ahead, Rose, and talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, none of us really want to have all of this graceful aging if we don't have also got the graceful cognitive incline, not decline, right? Everybody wants the brain to work well. This particular product is working in 3 different ways. One is it's reducing the shrinkage of the brain by 30%. It's actually increasing the circulation of blood flow to the brain, which is really necessary and key to the brain health. And really linked to neural activity. You can't use the brain efficiently if you don't have good blood flow. And it's improving the memory part by 3 times more than the group with a placebo. And I find that taking it, I have just gotten a much more sharp focus. I would like to play tennis and see if my reaction is any quicker. We'll see, because I haven't played tennis in a couple of years, but I might just pick that back up for test results. And I don't know, how are you guys feeling about mind work? So I'm feeling really positive about every part of it.
Well, yes, I think that what's really important, and I skipped a couple slides here, Rose, is that what we have learned now with this new product called MindWorks is that the brain can actually be rebuilt, and that you can improve the neural connections that you have within your brain. But it does take something like a MindWorks product that is extracted. They've actually learned that they could extract a certain polyphenol from the Chardonnay grape seed. So, I mean, this was a really meticulous project to get done, because they had to go after a very particular polyphenol or two that were in the grape seed. So the whole grape seed isn't being used. So I think it's so important to know that the science behind a product like this can actually immediately enhance mental sharpness. And then the other part of it is not just the immediacy, but then the long-term support for brain health, so that we can be in our 80s and 90s and have mental clarity and brain sharpness. So I love this product too. I'm very grateful for it, because I was noticing some things in my own mental cognitive ability around remembering names to faces, and not being able to recall certain words that I wanted to use. So this has been a great improvement for me too. And Dr. Krupa, what about you? What would you like to say about this connection between the brain and the overall body? Because I know that's part of what you do in your work. Oh, we might have lost her. Well, we will, I'm sure.
No, I'm here, Elena. I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that. So, yep, I have, the basic premise, one of the vitalistic principles, right, in chiropractic is that the brain and the spinal cord, they are the information highways for the whole body. So anything, any function that's coordinated, initiated, integrated, modulated in the body happens between the brain and the spinal cord, and then the nerves that, innervates that organ. So if the brain is not functioning 100%, then no system in your body will function 100%, because it's not just about cognitive health, but how much of a certain neurotransmitter or let's say hydrochloric acid in your stomach is supposed to be produced, that's all coordinated by the brain and the spine and the spinal cord. So the brain is so important. It's it's what coordinates every single function in our body.
That's right. We lose our brain, we really lose everything. So, Rose, talk to us a little bit about when you do order MindWorks, what else you get with it. Shakli's been so smart about helping us to improve our dexterity of our brain.
Well, it includes the free access to that brain training software called Cognifit. And if you have never played a brain game before, I guarantee you will find it fun and challenging. And I can really tell that if we could use it on a consistent basis, it would be equal to, exercising at the gym for the arm muscles, or, taking brisk walks for the overall body muscles, because it really, it's a challenge. It's a brain strain, and it's worth the try to do everything we can, especially when Halina says, it does have the control over everything. I mean, think about it. If she says when she says it's connected to how much hyaluronic acid you produce in your stomach is your brain's responsibility. Well, it makes you really want to keep your brain sharp.
Mm-hmm. Right. Wow. Well, as we come to a close here on this topic of aging, we know that we did not touch on every aspect of aging, but we wanted to give you a glimpse of some very essential things that will help to improve the aging process. And so our call to action for you would be to either contact Dr. Krupa. There's her information, her email, her websites, and her blog. You're welcome to contact myself as well if you would like further information, and also Rose. But Dr. Krupa is offering a 15-minute complimentary consultation, so you might want to take her up on that as well. So that would be highly to your advantage. But we want you to be cognizant of the need for supplementation today in our ability to slow down the aging process so that we can do it gracefully. We want to thank you for joining us today. And actually, we have a couple minutes, and if anyone has any questions, just type it into the chat box if you would like to, and then we can address those questions before we end. Something might have come up for someone and you wanted to ask a question, just please feel free to type that in. Well, then I think maybe we've done an excellent job that there are no questions. But this is being recorded, and it will be available to listen as an archive, and you can share this with your family and your friends and your associates as well. So thank you very much. Next month we'll be bringing you another webinar in relationship to empowering moms with the Shaklee effect. So thank you for joining us so much today. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Dr. Krupa.
Thank you, Elena.